Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Planescape Torment. Now with whatever we're doing. Yeah, woo, yeah. Let's just put those up there while we're here. Last time, we got ourselves all fired up on our spells. Yay. We now have all of the various fire spells. We still don't have level 4 Critical Cloud Guild in there, just in case we don't have any level 4 spells to learn. Which I'm kind of disappointed with. I was hoping that maybe we would have gotten some from Ignis, but I think the last one we got from... Oh wait, this was the last one we got. And that's also the last one we got from Dakon. We don't have any level 4 spells. I hope we find someone else who can teach us spells. Maybe get some scrolls. Oh, we could go shopping. Right, but before we do that, we're going to go and talk to Aelwyn. This tall, slender woman occasionally looks up from her cup of wine to scan the surrounding patrons and passers-by. Her facial features are elegantly exotic, and her eyes are brilliant gold in colour, catch the light, sparkling as she looks about. Greetings. She regards you carefully for a moment before replying. She speaks slowly and carefully, avoiding direct eye contact with you. I, Aelwyn, return your greetings. Oh, Aelwyn, your friend Namel is looking for you.
Updated my journal.
She begins to smile, but then covers her mouth with her hand and looks down at her drink. I, Aelwyn, am most pleased to hear of Namel. Might I, Aelwyn, persuade you to tell her of this place? Yes, I will do that.
Updated my journal.
She looks at you directly, and, for just the briefest of moments, before she casts her eyes back down to her drink, your senses are awash with a warm, comfortable feeling. Pure happiness. I, Aelwyn, thank you. May I ask you more about her, though? We're not. The way she speaks, and what her words do. How? I, Aelwyn, can only say that we come from another place, another world. We are not like the people here, whose words, thoughts, very feelings even, affect nothing directly. Go on. I, Aelwyn, take great care so as not to affect those around me too greatly. Namel, she is new here and cannot do so. It is something she must learn, should she choose to remain here longer. Why? There are many reasons. I, Aelwyn, feel it is not right to impose reality upon those without the ability to impose their own reality upon me, Aelwyn. Is there anything you cannot do by simply speaking of it? She frowns. A strange, unpleasant feeling rises in the pit of your stomach. Please, I, Aelwyn, would speak of it no more. All right, farewell. To Namel! Let's avoid the duel. We would. I'm trying to wonder where we could get spells from. We also got to find the way to make Thingy forget, don't we? There she is. The woman smiles as she greets you, her beauty no less breathtaking than the first time you saw her. Namel held her breath as the stranger approached her. Had you found Aelwyn? She wondered. I found Aelwyn. She was looking for you too.
Updated my journal.
Namel's lips form a perfect smile. An infectious happiness radiates from her, clinging to you like sweet-smelling warmth. Namel was overjoyed to hear of her friend. Was Aelwyn close by? She's at another cafe east of here, across this part of the ward. Namel thanked the man for his wondrous news. Soon she would go to visit her oldest friend, Aelwyn. Now, though, she would reward the stranger. That's all right, I don't need no reward. Namel touched her index fingers to her lips, making a faint hushing noise. She would draw the stranger close, laying her hand upon his chest and kissing the pale, leathery skin of his cheek. Life would flow into him, invigorating him. This, then, was to be his reward. Yay, hit points back. As you wait, there is a light tingling sensation upon your cheek and chest. The feeling spreads across the whole of your body, and you begin to feel stronger, more animated. Very well. Let's not push questions.
All right.
Drunken mage, teach me. This older man is staring into a stein of ale, misery etched into his features. The battered pewter mug is an unusual one, slightly engraved with strange runes and bearded faces and covered with a coat of thin frost. Oh, we've got one of these. He looks up as you approach. Greetings, sir. He seems slightly tipsy. Is something wrong? He sighs, belches into his hand and nods as he takes another pull of ale. Aye, something's wrong, all right. I've gone and lost my apprenticeship. Well, hungover I was, and botched my mentor's last experiment. All for this drink. He sneers at the mug in his hand, but in seconds his expression softens, and he takes another swig. Ruins everything it does, this drinking of mine. Why don't you stop drinking then?
Updated my journal.
He shrugs and sighs miserably. I simply cannot. I want to, but I cannot. I just need to drink. I try and stay away, but desire eventually overcomes me, and I cannot resist. Such a wreck I've become. He throws back the last of his ale and calls for more. What's that mug you've got there? This? I won this in a dice game. It's enchanted to keep whatever's in it freezing cold. In my case, cheap ale. He frowns, rubbing in his eyes, takes another swig. Is something wrong? I've already done that. I need to stop drinking. I simply cannot. It's the mug. It goes around. Is that an item I can use then? Can I, like... No. Okay, I was wondering if I could switch it out.
I'm gone.
Abel Ponder thought, you have a name. I should talk to you. Because you have a name. This older man looks somewhat bookish. His clothing and accessories are extremely clean and well cared for, and he often pauses to brush some fleck of dust or lint off of them. A symbol resembling a stylized dagger piercing upwards through a flame is embroidered upon his tunic. Greetings. And the man's eyes pass over you, gleaming as they fix on Morte. Oh, I say! Would you look at that? A floating skull! Morte turns and looks behind him. Where? Where? The man gasps. By the unjust laws of Junery the Merciless. Who? He suddenly covers his mouth and looks at Full from Grace apologetically. Sorry. The man was a horrible tyrant, now long dead. His name should never be spoken so... It is rather vulgar. My deepest apologies, Lady Grace. I did not mean to offend. She smiles slightly. It is no matter, Abel. I'm certain only Junery would have been offended by the comment. And as you know, his subjects buried him alive more than 3 centuries ago. Yes, you're probably right. Try and get his attention. He turns back to Morte. But behold, a skull, buoyant, levitating off the ground, cognitive of its environment, and possessing hearing, speaking, and seeing capabilities. He turns to you, as if you're suddenly a confidant. This is truly one of the reasons that the plains shall never become dull to me, sir. Just when you think you have seen everything, the plains show you yet another corner to peer around, and... He raises his hand gloriously. Suddenly, whole, new, wondrous vistas are open to you. Let's not lie. I'm not sure if Morte qualifies as a wondrous vista. The man ignores you, looking toward and said, I say, skull, he begins. Morte gasps. Look behind you! Another floating skull. Come on, Morte, I have questions for him. The man seems to have forgotten you entirely, instead turning in shock to look for this other floating skull. No! Where? Where? Right where I'm pointing? There? Where? I cannot see it. Morte speaks with mock exasperation. Ah, you just missed it. A whole parade of them. Probably never happens. Probably will never happen again. In a million revolutions of the Great Ring. He turns and interrupts. I sense you also possess a peculiar degree of mockery. Morte bobs slightly as if shrugging. I prefer to refer to it as keen insights into human nature. Try and get the man's attention again. He suddenly seems to actually see you for the first time. The man's eyes widen. By the unjust laws of Junery, the... He catches himself, looking apologetic. I say, are you all right? You look... He fumbles for the right words. Hurt? I'm all right. Aye, it hurts to look at him, it does. Right, let's not be... No. That's just... It's one of those things where I could see that being less harmful and said in a joking way, but I don't know how it's going to be said, so I'm not going to say it. Very amusing, Anna. I had some questions, good sir. The man nods, eagerly. Oh, of course. I'm always most happy to answer what questions I can, young sir. About you? Me? Certainly. Who are you? Why, my name is Abel Ponderthought. Other questions? What do you do here? I passed my administrator exam just recently and have achieved the status of an A9. It's a Slightly higher rank than N7. A research consultant in the Hall of Records, one of the many aides specializing in Sigild's physical laws and history. I research topics and laws of interest to others. It is quite fascinating, really. What's the symbol embroidered on your tunic, Beam? Why, 'tis the symbol of the Fraternity of Order. We are responsible for much of the lawmaking and running the courts here in Sigil. Many judges, advocates, and clerks are members of our order, and we are pleased to be able to help enforce Sigil's laws and keep things orderly. We make a strident effort to learn all laws, whether they pertain to Sigil, the planes, or the multiverse itself. What does the fraternity believe?
Updated my journal.
The Fraternity of Order believes that the multiverse is governed by laws. When one knows all the laws, one will understand the multiverse. That is our goal, of course. By understanding the laws, their limits, we learn to avoid certain laws. What sort of benefits are there in the position? Well, our fraternity allows us to read languages quite easily, and we may use some rules of the multiverse on occasion to suit our benefits. What are the questions about you? No. About this place. I'll admit I know little of this part of the Clerk's Ward, sir, but please, ask. Why is it called the Clerk's Ward? Because all the clerks are there. It is the seat of much of Sigild's record halls and administration. The staff at these places give the ward its name. Many clerks, scribes, priests, bureaucrats, and administration officials live in this ward. What's of interest, right? There is one of the finest advocates in Sigil located here. The Civic Fest Hall, home of the Society of Sensation, is also located nearby. He lowers his voice. And the brothels, sir, of slaking intellectual lusts. Time of the advocate. He is also one of the Fraternity of Order, though his time there has ebbed somewhat since the unfortunate troubles he has experienced. I am not one to speak of them, of course. His residence is just across the way, south and east of here. No. Ooh, no. Let's go through all these. Tell me of the festival. It is a beautiful structure that is both the headquarters of the Society of Sensation and acts as a hall for the arts here in Sigil and the Plains. It is an opera house, museum, art gallery, wine shop, tavern, training hall, theatre, sensorium. Many things can be found there. Sensoriums? Yes, the sensates possess sensory stones, minerals that can store a person's experiences within them. Once recorded, anyone may touch the stone and relive the experience stored in the sensory stone. Quite intriguing, really. Go back round. The brothel. He nods, looking somewhat embarrassed. Yes, well, I am known to go there for the conversation. He turns to fall from Grace. It is a noble pursuit you are engaged in, Lady Grace. I wish you would instruct your students in a more formal regimen. Perhaps give them more an overview on the city's laws and policies than they... Grace smiles, managing to politely interject. And why do you think you're always welcome, my good Abel? You digest that for a moment, then nods, beaming. Thank you, Lady Grace. He turns to you once more. More about the ward. Know of any work available locally? None of the temporary sort, no. Something else. The city as a whole. Questions about Sigil? Please, sir, ask whatever you like. Curious about the various factions. Yes, there are 15 factions in Sigil. Once there were 49. Then about 600 years ago, the Lady of Pain let it be known that only 15 would be allowed to remain. That was known as the Great Upheaval. And sure enough, in a fortnight, 34 of them perished or faded. Many thousands died by sword or other means. Many were simply found dead. I myself am a member of the Fraternity of Order. Others include the Believers of the Source, the Dustmen, the Harmonium, the Mercy Killers, the Revolutionary League, the Society of Sensation, and the Xioxitex. I have no idea how to say that. Well, tell me of the Believers of the Source.
Updated my journal.
The Believers of the Source, or Godsmen, believe that every living thing in the multiverse has the potential to become a power. The Godsmen have their headquarters in the Great Foundry, and they have helped to keep peace in Sigil in a number of matters. They have no desire to see any creature placed in the Dead Book before it has chanced to reach its potential. Other factions. Oh, hello. The Fraternity of Order, I think we've already done. Yes. More of the other factions.
Updated my journal.
Well, the Dustmen believe we are already dead. That Sigil and the Plains are where we all end up after we die. According to their beliefs, everything is already dead, and this existence is merely a false one. To keep any ties or feelings for this existence only prevents a soul from truly moving on and dying. You'll see, the Dustmen believe that death in this existence is a matter of degree, and only those who are truly dead and have divested themselves of all ties to this existence can hope to be at peace. A philosophy that has some basis in fact, but much of it bears further examination. More about them, about the harmonium.
Updated my journal.
Well, the harmonium is devoted to peace and harmony, hence the name, throughout the planes, hence the name. I jumped ahead a bit. They believe that the end justifies the means, however, and so are willing to do just about anything to get a fellow to see things the correct way. Regardless of one's personal opinion of them, they do a fine job of policing Sigil's streets. The Mercy Killers.
Updated my journal.
The Mercy Killers believe that justice is everything. Malin, their last factol, once said that when properly applied, punishment leads to perfection. Those new to Sigil oftentimes commit the error of thinking their name implies that they kill out of mercy. Rather, though, it is that they seek to kill mercy itself. The faction members take it upon themselves to punish the guilty of Sigil, whatever the price, whatever the cost, whatever the punishment. The revolution. I know I'm adding words. The revolutionary.
Updated my journal.
They are also called the anarchists. I think Anna's in this. I think. Not many know this, but the Revolutionary League is actually quite widespread in Sigil, and a shame that is too. They hold the misguided belief that all institutions have been established to block their access to the truth of the multiverse. The only way they see to discover the truth is to tear down all organization. They claim that the truth can only be discovered when people are completely free. He shakes his head, which makes sense, because if you're completely free, if everyone's free, the only freedom you end up having is something about a mega. Second Mass Effect book is about mega. If everyone's free, inverted commas, then only certain people are really free, and they're the people with the power. You may be able to change who's got the power by making people free, inverted commas, but ultimately it doesn't make any sense, because the people who... not everyone's going to be free, and that's true in every situation, depending on your definition of what free means. I often wish that they would open their eyes to the truth around them. They do nothing but blind themselves and block everyone's access to the truth. He gives a long sigh, then wags his finger disapprovingly, as if talking to some imaginary bad child. It is interesting to note that they have no real plans for seeking the truth, past tearing down everything that they can see. Very interesting indeed. It is also of interest that while the Revolutionary League has a large number of members, the very nature of their faction causes these members to work counter to each other's interests. Often, cells fight amongst themselves, each one claiming to know the proper way to go about tearing everything else down.